Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is that you may be watching this video. I'm going to review the notes that we have gone over this week or this past week on long division. We had started them on Friday of last week and did not finish. So I'm going to go through all of the notes so that if you've missed class or there's something that you need to review, you can go ahead and watch this video to get caught up. So this is long division. Okay, and this is also a skill that was introduced to you in 5th grade. So we're going to start first of all by drawing a line down the center. And this is sort of how we do our notes to make boxes. And then we're going to make 6 boxes. So I'm going to draw lines here. And remember, you can pause this video at any time if you need to get caught up. All right? So we have our 6 boxes. Okay, and our first box is going to be our notes. So this is going to be our brief little reminder of how we do long division. Okay, so the first thing that you might have heard is a mnemonic called "Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers?" And that's sort of a reminder or a mnemonic for the steps needed to complete long division. So the first step is to divide. Does stands for divide. McDonald's, multiply. Sell, subtract. Cheeseburgers, this is an extra step that I like, is check. This is where we need to check up top in our problem to see if there's another number that we need to bring down when we're doing long division. And then B for burgers is bring down. And then R is repeat. So we go back up and start the steps over again. Okay, and just a little, excuse me, vocabulary reminder. If this is my division problem, this number inside the house, the 8, is called the dividend. The 2 up top is called the quotient. And the 4 on the outside is called the divisor. Okay, so very important vocabulary words. Divisor on the outside. Dividend is inside the house. And our quotient is our answer. Okay, example number 1. 668 divided by 4. Okay, the first thing we do when we're setting up this problem is we need to decide which number is the dividend or which number goes in the house. So the dividend is the number that we put in the house, and it's the first number. It's not because it is the biggest, it is because it is the first number. We always put the first number in the house. So 668, so we have 668 cookies, and we're going to divide them by 4 people. So how many cookies would each person get? 668 divided by 4. So the first thing we do is divide. How many times will 4 go into 6 without going over? Or what times 4 equals 6, or the closest to 6 without going over? Well, that is going to be 1. Now we multiply. 1 times 4 is 4. And then we subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2. Check and bring down. 26. Now, I repeat. I go back up to the top by dividing. How many times will 4 go into 26 without going over? So think of this as your multiples of 4. 4, 6, 8, 12, etc. And think about your multiplication table. So 8 times 4 is 32, so that one's too big. That goes over. But 6 times 4 is 24. 26 minus 24 is 2. I need to check and bring down. And then what times 4 equals 28 without going over? 7. 7 times 4 is 28. We have 0 remainders. Okay, I'm going to keep going because I have a time limit on my recording that limits me to 15 minutes. But remember, you can pause your recording and complete the problem. Okay, example number 2. 880, so 880 divided by 5. Going to put the 880 in the house, not because it's the largest number, because it's the number that is first. 880 slices of pizza divided by 5 people. How many slices of pizza would each person get? 5 goes into 8 one time without going over. Multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. Check and bring down. How many times does 5 go into 38 without going over? Goes in 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. 38 minus 35 is 3. Then check and bring down. Then how many times does 5 go into 30 without going over? 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract. No remainders. Check. There's no more numbers to bring down. Okay, example number 3. 4045 divided by 8. 4045 goes in the house divided by 8. Okay, so here we continue with 4045 divided by 8. So here is our first problem. Can 8 go into 4 without going over? No, because the number on the outside is bigger than the number on the inside. So one of the tricks you may have learned in elementary school is to put a little X above the 4. Do not put a 0 because that changes the number. Put in a little X, and that shows you that you didn't forget about that 4 and helps you to keep your numbers aligned. So now we need to look at the 40. How many times does 8 go into 40 without going over? Goes in 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 minus 40 is 0. I check. I bring down the 4. Now I have the same situation again. How many times does 8 go into 4? It can't. If the number on the outside is bigger than the number on the inside, you can't do it. But this is very important. You can't just check and bring down. No, you have to still follow the step and divide. So how many times can 8 go into 40? It goes in 0 times. 0 times. So 0 times 8 is 0. And I still subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4. I check and bring down. How many times does 8 go into 45 without going over? It goes in 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40. And then I subtract. 45 minus 40 is 5. So then that's a remainder of 5. Okay, and this will be about the last time we do remainders, because the next week, or maybe the week after, we will be learning how we address remainders in middle school. We no longer use remainders in middle school, but for right now, you can still use remainders. Remember, you can hit pause if you're not ready to move on to the next problem. Okay, problem number 4, 832 divided by 4. 832 goes in the house because it's the first number, divided by 4. How many times does 4 go into 8 without going over? Goes in 2 times. I multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. I subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. I check and bring down. How many times does 4 go into 3 without going over? Can't do that. So that is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. I subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. I check and bring down. How many times does 4 go into 32? 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. So 832 divided by 4 is 208. Okay. And then example number 5. 3,570 divided by 8. Okay. 3,570 goes in the house divided by 8. How many times does 8 go into 3? It's too big, we can't do it, so I put an X. Okay. Then I look at this. When you're starting the problem off, you can just go straight to these first two numbers. If the first number is too big, you can look at the second number, 35. 4. 8 goes into 35 4 times. 8 times 4 is 32. Minus 3. Check and bring down. 8 goes into 37 4 times, which is 32. Subtract. It's a 5. Check and bring down. Goes in, 8 goes into 50 6 times. It's 48. Subtract 2. So we have a remainder of 2. Okay, so remember, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? Divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down, repeat. Go back up to the top. These are the notes for long division. Make sure that you have these in your notebook or on a piece of paper that you could put into your math folder. You're going to need all of your Unit 1 notes together when we come to test time or take our Unit 1 assessment. So you want to make sure that you have all these notes to refer back to. If you have any questions, remember you can check in with me in the morning help sessions or bring your questions to class on Tuesday and Friday afternoon. Have a great day.